You are right up my street.
Oh, you can't make me choose.
Igo by Toyota sponsors T4.
Fuck me, Lee Ryan's 13.
Marlene.
I remember we couldn't remember the word for table.
This is Your Welcome America, the podcast that explains what the bloody hell Brits are banging on about.
In every episode, we translate British pop culture for America.
And American pop culture for Britain. You're welcome.
I am Ben.
I am Frazer.
Frazer like razor. I am hungover.
Hi, babes.
Is my voice any different? Is it more of a low hungover register?
It's gorgeous. I knew what was happening. I saw those glasses when I came in.
I am wearing.
Which has got her specs on.
I'm just going to talk everyone through my hungover look at 7:34 p.m. on a Sunday. Wearing some shorts. I'm wearing a vintage Hard Rock Cafe Denver tee. Shout out to my friend Katie Mack who got me that. And I am wearing glasses.
Before we get into our weekend, I saw there's some characters in your neighborhood, aren't there? I saw a woman walking two dogs in a pram.
Yeah.
And they were both wearing a matching outfit as well.
Yeah.
It was a real strange sight.
Steep hill. Got it, yeah.
They looked really happy, and I liked their outfits.
Yeah.
Some real crackpots around here.
Waka, waka,
Including
waka.
you.
Goyle.
Well, what a weekend. We've been dodging different diseases. Monkeypox here, or COVID there.
We're both monkeypox vaxxed.
Exactly.
I got my vaccine the other day on it was Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was in line for 4.5 hours. But that's not an exaggeration.
Oh dear.
In the hot heat of LA, made some friends. Let's just say saw many people that I know or know of in the long line for the monkeypox vaccine.
Yeah, I went yesterday and I had a much nicer experience. I was only there for a couple of hours, but it's very strange specifically to see just gay men. It was like,
Yeah.
It wasn't queer, it was just gay men. Like all lining up.
Did you see anyone you knew?
No, because me and Bordeaux went to Santa Clarita
That was
to do
clever.
it, which I was trying to explain to my friend Lydia, and we decided it was the equivalent of being offered a vaccine in, say, Battersea, and deciding instead to go to Milton Keynes to get it.
Yeah, Milton Keynes. That's good. Milton Keynes and Santa
Santa
Clarita.
Not too dissimilar. So yeah, I went to the Milton Keynes location to get mine. So it was the Wild West up there.
And Santa Clarita is right beside and essentially has Six Flags.
Yes.
Milton Keynes has that snow center.
Snow dome.
The snow dome.
Perfect equivalent. That's what we do on this podcast.
So then last night we went out. We went to...
Where didn't we go?
We went everywhere. We really did it.
Yeah.
Hotel bar for a drink. Just some gals propped up at a fancy bar having a cocktail.
Lovely.
Then we zoomed over to a gay bar, Red Line, that was way busier than it's ever been in its entire existence.
Well, yeah, we actually went through the doors of Red Line and we fell into like a portal that took us to... Where did we decide it was? It was like a gay bar in Malaga in 2008, I think is what we decided on.
Or maybe like a gay bar in an island, like the Galapagos Islands or something. It was very... the songs were changing every 20 seconds.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It was a lot to take in, yes. And then we went to...
Oh, and remember, they had this bizarre Malaga Galapagos Islands gay bar. They had those two giant floral arrangements.
Yeah, they looked like almost like they'd come from a wedding or a funeral, but they were on the bar.
Yeah, it was
Very
like
strange.
It was like if you were staying at Four Seasons, you know?
Really weird.
Yeah. Where do we go next?
Then we dropped over to Precinct downtown for a night called Mega Woof.
Yeah.
Just, dilly-dallied around there again, just tried to avoid catching diseases. That was fun. And then we went off to a warehouse located yet again in a location I can't quite remember.
But we've been to that location before.
Yeah, and I still haven't quite got it locked into my brain.
Yeah.
I think it's near the Staples Center in like a derelict warehouse region.
And our friend's night called Ospenhof.
Yep. Which I can never remember the word of.
You
And
call
always
it
call it
Oppenheimer?
Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Which is actually not even the right name of the Selling Sunset agency, which I think I'm also mispronouncing that.
Who knows?
It was fun.
Yeah, we drank some vodka-based drinks. We had some beers. When I got in last night, I had a kale and chicken salad with lots of chips as in tortilla chips.
A salad is such a wild thing to eat at like 3 a.m.
I
It's
know.
very
But it was there
lame.
and ready. It was there and ready for me. And then I watched, while I was munching that on my bed, Shout out to one of our friends who also likes to eat in bed. I won't say their name.
Who's that? Oh, really?
Yeah, we both talked about how we like to.
I'll bleep it out.
Okay.
So the countdown is on. As of our recording today, the countdown is on for me to go back to the UK. And I have been dodging diseases all weekend long. Do we think I'm going to make it back to the UK?
I hope there's not a future Frazer thing here where it's like, future Frazer here. I had to cancel all my plans. Yep. How long are you away for?
A week, maybe 2 weeks. It's a little unclear at the moment because of visa appointment situations.
Now, other than like seeing people, what kind of things are you looking forward to about being back in the UK? Your first time since
Christmas 2018,
which is bananas.
Well, outside of seeing people and doing, all of my family, blah blah blah, all that shit, I'm excited to go to a Pret.
I knew you're gonna say it. What are you gonna get?
I don't know. I feel like my tastes have changed since I've left London, so I'm excited to maybe try some things that I wouldn't previously have had.
Ooh!
So I'm definitely excited to go to Pret. I'm excited to go to Sainsbury's. I just want to stand inside a Sainsbury's again, inside like the supermarket, and just feel the Sainsbury's of it all.
Yeah.
Really excited to go to Marks and Spencer's in Dulwich.
That's always my fave.
Really excited about that. I'm gonna buy a few little things to bring back. So really, I'm just excited about going to supermarkets and restaurants.
Okay, so normally in our episodes, in fact, every episode we take a UK pop culture topic. We discuss, dissect, work out the US equivalent. Then we take an American pop culture topic, discuss, dissect, work out the UK equivalent. Yeah. Before we get into that, let's do some feedback. Actually, I'm going to start. I've got some feedback for just all of us in general. So remember our American music correspondent, Jimmy
yes.
M. So he, as you may have listened to the end of the last episode, did our mashup of Honey and Sister Act 2. The other morning, I had a work call at 8:30. And I wasn't quite sure. So I made coffee, drank coffee, and I put that on and I danced around in my underwear to it to get myself good
Amazing.
to go. Really
Thanks,
worked.
Jimmy.
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy, again.
Yeah, possibly our only bit of feedback, which has been almost an actual gift to us. Everything else is just your kind words. Thanks. So my friend Elisa has been really on top of commenting and giving us feedback. My favorite one being a comment on an episode which I don't even remember what we're talking about. I'm guessing it was in reference to Marry Me. Marry me, say yes. She says, in quote marks, Owen Wilson looks like a lesbian seagull. Was a real episode highlight for me. Never has a description been more true. I'm assuming we were talking about marry me,
say yes.
I just pointed at you to do the say yes.
It wasn't even an official topic, but we did discuss that movie heavily. I've got some feedback from Tom Leonard in London. He said, I've recently listened to the Totally Scott Lee episode. Oh. So, listeners, that is You're Welcome America presents Totally Scott Lee. Wow. Go back. I mean, that's a real triumph.
Wow, our friends are really trawling through our back catalogues. Thank you.
And I really think it's a work of art, the level of detail. I have not watched the show, and now definitely do not need to.
Oh, please, yeah. Any of our You're Welcome America presents, you really don't need to watch the source material, because we'll talk about Radiator covers. I got my friend Elisa, another great, this is just a piece of personal feedback that she sent to me. I think she was listening to the episode. I'm going to play it for you, then I'm going to explain it.
Okay.
Liberty exit, non-stop vibe. Sexy.
Okay, I'm going to guess. Was that your local radio? And before certain songs, they would do a slight remix at the beginning, then go into the song?
You are correct. Vibe FM in Vibe FM in Norfolk, they had their own kind of special thing, and I'll just do it one more time for you.
Okay.
Liberty exit, non-stop vibe. Sexy.
To the point that I know Elisa, I think it's almost maybe like a mental tick of hers that I've heard her do it before, just apropos of nothing. She just kind of goes, Liberty exit, non-stop vibe.
It's just stuck in her.
Yeah, when she eventually loses her mind, which is coming, that's going to be one of the only things that she can say. I know it.
Do go to our Instagram, actually, You're Welcome America, and leave us any comments or feedback.
Yeah, if you're really bored, go through our highlights. It's a real wild ride.
Oh my God. So I was just tidying the highlights up the other day. The highlights for the Saturday's episodes are bonkers. They're so bonkers.
Yeah.
Also, please rate and review us. In fact, you know what?
What?
Pause the podcast right now.
Yes.
And please go rate and review us on Apple Podcasts if that's what you use. And as well as rating, please write us a review.
Yes.
Put in some private jokes in there.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, lesbian seagulls.
Right. Let's do it.
Okay.
Liberty exit non-stop vibe.
And we're back. We're kicking things off with our British topic. Bearing in mind you're about to go to Blighty. This is perfect for you.
Right, really getting
So-
myself back in the zone, which is funny because you don't know my topic, and this topic's really not going to help me get used to being back in the UK. But we'll see.
Uh-oh. Is it BSE? Is it mad cow disease?
It is.
Fraser's
It's foot and mouth disease, everyone.
Fraser's up with our UK topic. What is it?
Okay, let's see if you recognize it from this. You might not.
Whoa. So that your topic's Hollyoaks.
My topic is Hollyoaks.
That's a good topic.
Now, I'm gonna just do a disclaimer.
You
that
definitely came over to the podcast studio in a slight flutter and fluster.
Yeah,
about
I'm
this
definitely
topic.
I'm all aflutter about it because it's actually quite an unwieldy and large topic. So what I've done is really just zoom in on some incredibly unimportant details about it that we can pick apart and talk about.
Oh my god, I've just had a flashback of a few things. By the way, I just want to say something.
Yeah.
When Hollyoaks came out, what year
Yeah.
did it come out?
So it came out. It began in 1995.
Okay.
23rd of October.
Okay, let me tell you something. When Hollyoaks first came out, my friend Grant, shout out to Grant if you listen, I don't think you do, but you should. You would like our shows. He taped it
Oh.
on VHS, watched it, then he lent me the tape, and I watched it with him on the phone.
Wow.
And then we basically talked about it and analysed it. So as soon as they went into the pub, it was like, oh, a dog in the pond, yeah, the dog in the pond.
Dog in the
Dog in the pond.
My God, I didn't even do enough research to remember the name of the pub being the Dog in the Pond.
Dog in the Pond.
The dog?
The dog. The dog.
I worked at a pub called The Dog.
Going down the dog.
Oh yeah, how strange. So yes, it is a British Hollyoaks. Actually, we haven't explained it at all.
No.
Hollyoaks is a British soap opera which started airing on Channel 4, 23rd of October 1995. It's set in a fictional village called Hollyoaks. That's why it's called Hollyoaks, and it's a suburb of Chester,
Yes.
which is such a strange and specific town to have set this soap opera in. So Chester is kind of south of it's like south of Liverpool and Manchester and kind
Yeah.
of the north of Wales. It's a very strange little. It's a lovely town. Have
you been?
Yeah, I've been to Chester. It's gorgeous.
What were you doing there?
I worked on some terrible pilot there. Some terrible E4 pilot that never took off, and we filmed on location in Chester. Oof. I can tell you they had a place where I got a lovely sausage roll.
Or did they? I bet they've got a lovely Pizza Express.
Yeah.
In a great old building.
Yeah, because it's got all the archway kind of designs there.
Actually, I'm just gonna Google Pizza Express Chester. It's like the one we had in York. Gorgeous building. Oh, here we go. This is perfect. Our restaurant in Chester is set on St. John Street, close to the ancient Roman walls. Of course.
There you go.
Gorgeous. US equivalent of Pizza Express is California Pizza Factory. Kitchen. CPK. Sorry. CPF. Back to Hollyoaks.
So it says here, which is kind of, this is the key point about Hollyoaks. So it is a soap opera.
Yeah.
And any international listeners should know that soap operas may be dead in other countries, but in the UK, they will never die. They are staple viewing for a lot of people. They regularly win the time slots for TV channels and everything. So they are a huge thing, and they're still there. And Hollyoaks was meant to be kind of aimed more at teenagers and young adults when it came out. So what do you remember about the first gang of Hollyoaks when we first started watching it in the 90s?
Tony.
So there's Tony, who is still in it.
Oh my God.
He's the longest running character.
Mandy,
yeah, and that was... So there's Tony, Mandy, and then there was a few people I've kind of forgotten about. Do you remember Dawn? She died in a rowing boat. Remember?
I remember Dawn. I remember the first time.
And then...
Sorry, you go. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, there's two men that appeared in the first episode who... Genuinely, I still have a crush on now at the ripe old age of 38.
Will Mellor?
So Will Mellor played Jambo.
That's right.
Sexy. Still is. And
Yeah.
then most importantly, do you remember the first scene of Hollyoaks was someone arriving on a motorbike in a leather jacket?
Oh, who's that?
Kurt, played by Jeremy Edwards, ex-husband of Rachel Stevens.
Well, no, I don't think
Ex-boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend.
Ex-fiancé.
Jeremy Edwards. Oh, yes.
Yeah, still looks good.
Some real legends.
Yeah, throw it out there. He still looks great. So yes, it's meant to be aimed at kind of teenagers. So the focus is a lot more on the younger cast members. So it actually almost has a school feeling sometimes, like a high school kind of soap opera as well, because there's a lot of school-based shenanigans. So it started in the 90s, so it came along at a perfect time for us. But I don't know about you, but for me, my Hollyoaks viewing got really solidified when I was at university, when I was a student.
Do you watch it on T4?
We would watch it on T4, and we would actually watch it. Especially my first year when I lived in halls, we would actually gather together in each other's rooms and watch it.
Wow.
It was like an evening thing. We were like, oh, we'll get together and watch Hollyoaks at like, what was it, 6:30?
Yeah.
Or 6 o'clock. But that's very important actually, because it's called the tea time slot. I was looking at this when I was doing my research. They call it the tea time slot, which is meant to be, because it's even earlier than when EastEnders and Coronation Street are on past like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
It means that they had to be even more sensitive about what they were dealing with in the soap opera.
And then in the UK as well, like you'd be talking about time slots for shows and stuff. Wait, is this for the tea time slot, or is it? No, this is tea time. The tea time shoulder slot.
Yeah, or pre-Watershed, post-Watershed.
Post-Watershed. They would air it at 6:30 tea time, and then they would repeat it all the episodes on Sunday on T4.
Correct. Yeah. So it was on. Yeah, you're right. On nightly, and then on T4 they would do what's that word? Omnibus. They would do the Hollyoaks Omnibus, where you'd get to watch all of the whole week's episodes all in a row, which is a really wild piece of programming to watch. Like,
that's Hangover TV.
Yeah, that was completely it. So yeah, if you did miss it at uni, or I had been known to watch them and then rewatch the whole omnibus like in bed at university, because it started at like 11:30 on T4, and it was just the perfect time for me to pop on my VHS TV combo, which was already a defunct technology when I went to university. I'm not that old, and yeah, just watch the whole kind of T4 omnibus. We would do Neighbours and Hollyoaks were our big ones.
What would you snack on while watching the omnibus?
Oh God, I mean, back in those days, I was really a child that was let loose to my own devices, so I'd often make things, just anything from the freezer aisle that was potato based. So we're talking your waffles, your smiles, your southern comfort fries. What are they called?
Southern, I don't know.
You know what I mean? The ones that have the like coating on them. I want to say southern fried, but I think I'm making that up.
No, I think that's right.
Okay.
So they taste like they're fried, but you've done them in the oven?
Yes.
I was very big at uni on having like giant bowls of cereal, but it'd be like Alpen, because I'm like, oh, I'm being healthy. But Alpen's just like powdered sugar.
So far you've said that you ate bowls of cereal at university, and your drunk snack the other night was a kale salad. Very unrelatable, Ben.
No, but
I'm kidding.
But
busting your balls, babes.
And what have I ordered for dinner?
Squid ink pasta.
Oh.
You're insane.
Shit.
I don't want to. There's no point like trying to sum up everything that's happened in Hollyoaks, because that's insane. But I wanted just to go backwards and forwards with you and see if you can remember what your like key storylines that from the soap that you remember that were part of your kind of teenage years and university years.
I wasn't super. I've never been super into Hollyoaks,
right,
despite the fact that I apparently analyzed the first episode on VHS tape. Did something blow up at some point?
Oh, I think the whole of Hollyoaks Village has blown up at some point. So for me, I definitely have referenced her before, because she is a character that has given me one of my greatest lines to use all the time, which is "Soz, just having a goss." And you know that came from the character called Ellie, who was dating the serial killer Toby, and she'd call him Toby. Toby. Do you remember? So that was a really good storyline. That was peak university years. So for a really long time on the soap, Toby was murdering women and attacking them, but like no one in the soap knew about it, and his girlfriend Ellie was just like, "Toby, what's wrong with you, Toby?" And then he tried to strangle Steph, and then she got epilepsy after being attacked. Do you remember that?
Oh, that rings a bell.
Yeah. There was a storyline which had a very big impact on me, especially at the time, because of what was going on in my own personal life.
Gayness and queerness.
At university, which was...
Well, actually, no, not gayness
yeah,
and queerness.
exactly. It was John Paul and Craig. Do you remember them?
That rings a bell.
So it was basically two best friends who were like dating these two girls so they were like a little kind of foursome of like friends, and then basically John Paul and Craig started like a secret affair with each other.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, so that had a very big impact on me, just because it was, it kind of related to something that was happening to me at the time.
What were those two I'm also going in my head to Anthony and Craig on Big Brother.
Oh yeah, please. That's a yes.
That's a whole other terrifying
Anthony and Craig and Big
thing.
Brother is a whole other unrequited love storyline that we'll talk about at some point when we get into our Big Brother special that we do.
Oh my god, our Big Brother special.
Yeah. So there's lots of plot lines in Hollyoaks, and obviously there's a lot that in our era. But the thing is that Hollyoaks is still going on.
Yeah.
And there's a kind of a viral moment, which I didn't know if you'd ever seen, which is one of the, God, how do I explain this? There's two brothers, like in real life, brothers that are on Hollyoaks. I don't think they're on it anymore. And they are, one of them was on Love Island, and the other one is a professional dancer on Strictly.
Okay.
They're called like AJ and Curtis and AJ Pritchard.
That rings a bell.
And they basically have this one scene that they did together, and they're both interesting in the field of acting, in the sense that there's really not anything going on there.
I was beginning to think you'd forgot about me. What did Mum say? Probably stop whinging. True. How's Trish? Heartbroken. She thought she was about to get engaged. Couldn't have been further from the truth. Well, that's made my day, that. It'll be nothing compared to what we've got planned for her.
What?
And that went viral, and everyone was just constantly going, "How's Trish? She's heartbroken." I saw people doing like TikToks of them like reenacting it. One of the most insane things about Hollyoaks is that it spawned so many spin-offs that it's actually crazy. I'm just going to read you the list of the names of the spin-offs. Okay. So we've got, in the category of video/DVD specials, we have Hollyoaks Off on One, Hollyoaks Indecent Behavior, which seems to be something to do with footballing, which is fun. And then we go into the late night specials. Hollyoaks Lost Weekend, Hollyoaks Boys Do Barca.
Barca.
Like Barcelona.
Oh my god.
Hollyoaks Breaking Boundaries, Hollyoaks Leap of Faith, Hollyoaks After Hours, Hollyoaks In Too Deep, Hollyoaks Crossing the Line, Hollyoaks No Going Back, Hollyoaks Back from the Dead.
Oh, that one's good.
Hollyoaks King of Hearts. These are all one-off specials. Now we're getting into spin-off series.
Right, okay.
Hollyoaks Moving On, Hollyoaks Let Loose, Hollyoaks Later, Hollyoaks Does Come Dine With Me, and then the most important one, which is Hollyoaks in the City.
So, question for you. What city are we talking about? Is it Manchester?
Hollyoaks in the City is set in Liverpool.
Oh!
Now,
the city.
Now, we always come back to a certain few people and a certain few subjects of this, but why was Hollyoaks in the City such an important one? I ask you. Do you remember what happened in Hollyoaks in the City? If you don't, I'm going to give you a little description here.
Okay, give me. I don't remember.
So, Hollyoaks in the City is a British drama series set in Liverpool. Mm-hmm. First broadcast in 2006. So basically, it is. There was a series called Hollyoaks Let Loose, which was Gemma Atkinson. Do you remember her?
She was a big
her
deal.
character. Yeah, it's her character, and so they were called Ben and Lisa, is what they were called. So Ben and Lisa kind of left Hollyoaks and had their own series, but then the second series was them in Liverpool, so they moved to Liverpool. So they were the only two characters which were from Hollyoaks original. Okay, it's just too good. I need to. This is really difficult because I almost want to read you the synopsis for the whole series because it's so good. I'm going to try and take out some little bits and pieces so it's not so long.
Okay.
After returning home from Sri Lanka, Ben and Lisa move in with Ben's friend Tank Top when they cannot afford to purchase their own place. They quickly settle in and plan to purchase a bar in Liverpool. However,
So wait. They can't afford to buy their own place, but they can't afford to buy a bar? Sorry, carry on.
Just
carry
you wait,
on.
this gets resolved in the next two sentences.
Okay.
Well, not resolved. Ben is tricked into handing over the deposit to con men. After being given a chance to retrieve his money by a local entrepreneur, Burton, Ben finds himself embroiled in a world of crime and sleaze as he tries to work off his debts.
Sleaze.
And then this is what's so good is Lisa started working at a modeling agency. Is this coming back to you now? So it was a Liverpool-based modeling agency. So it was following her modeling. But it turned out that the modeling agency was a front for an escort agency. So she became an escort.
Wow.
And the modeling agency was called Gloss.
What time was this? Was not tea time. What time
No,
was
this
this
definitely
on?
wasn't tea time. I don't know actually.
I'm sure it was like 11 p.m. or something.
Yeah, it was definitely on. It was definitely on late. Lisa befriends Polly, who shares a flat with Kay, played by Kim Marsh.
I would like to say that I never meant to make you cry.
But Kay is murdered after 2 episodes.
Got it. Just a 2-episode deal for Kim Marsh.
Then, most importantly, oh my God, I just saw the word snuff pornographic film highlighted on Wikipedia further down. But the most important storyline in Hollyoaks in the City is one of their friends. So it said the series also featured Oliver Lee as a gay student, Josh, who becomes infatuated with his teacher, Adam, played by... Hey, my name's Philip Olivier.
Oh my God.
Philip Olivier, who had gay sex scenes in this show.
Oh, I mean, it all comes back to Phil, doesn't it?
Oh, Philip Olivier and his bare bottom on the cover of Gay Times naked issue.
God, he was so gorgeous, so tanned.
So tanned, and like, he was a real early look of how like all straight men who live in like, who go on like Love Island and like live in Liverpool and Manchester and, you know, Norwich, how they all look now. But he was like an early prototype for like a straight man who looks like a gay porn actor.
Yeah, like a buff, bronzed god.
Little pocket Adonis.
Yeah.
And I just remember...
Pocket Adonis. Hey, Pocket Adonis!
And I remember, because you know when you were like, when we were kind of at a certain age where gay content wasn't kind of... Not like now where you can just watch anything. And I'm not just talking about porn, I'm talking about like gay storylines or anything. So you would watch certain things for so long just for like a scrap of gay action. And I remember watching Hollyoaks in the City and I was like, oh yeah, you know, you get like a bare bum here and there, just like male bum like in a scene. And then obviously there was this kind of like, oh, the student's in love with this teacher, but he hadn't like come out. So it's like, oh, is he gay? Like, are we going to get anything? And then I remember this one specific scene where it's Philip Olivier working out at the gym and this like really hunky guy starts talking to him and he's just like, oh, what are you doing? Blah, blah. And they like talking. And then Philip Olivier's character is literally like, do you want to, because he's like really nervous, he's like, do you want to come back to mine? This guy's like, yeah. And then the next scene was literally them like kissing and having a gay sex scene in his apartment.
Fun.
Oh my God, Philip Olivier. Really importantly, there was a wild spin-off show on T4 for a short period of time, which was called the Hollyoaks Music Show. Now, we really need to talk about this. I'm going to read you this description because it just couldn't be more perfect for us.
Okay.
The Hollyoaks Music Show began with celebrity artists performing on the set of Hollyoaks. Some of the acts that performed in the series included Ed Sheeran, Boo, Paloma Faith, Jason Derulo, big booking for them, The Saturdays, Ollie Murs, and more. The series was sponsored by Matalan. So it is literally called like Matalan Presents, like the Hollyoaks Music Show. And it was hosted by Max and JB.
Future Frazer, yes I know, Max and OB. Calm yourselves.
As like a hosting duo.
I knew it.
And it's the most British thing you've ever seen. I just want you to just hear this interaction between them and Ed Sheeran.
Okay.
I do love a good music video, but what I love more is chatting to talented singer-songwriters. Oh, hello Ed Sheeran, how are you?
All right, how are you?
I just wanted you to hear that beginning because it was so like, hiya, all right Ed, how you doing? I'm all right, how are you?
It's like, I'm all right, thank you.
Okay, so we just watched a couple of clips of the Hollyoaks Music Show, which the Saturdays performing and Pixie Lott. Highlights include cutaways to the crowd where one girl didn't know the words and was just kind of staring off aimlessly into the distance, and one where two people are just having a chat.
Yeah, just having a chat.
You see her like poking someone on the shoulder. They're like, "Oh hi, yeah, you're right."
It's on a scaffolding stage outside. It looks chilly.
It did look chilly outside the kind of set, and in the background, I did notice Avisa, which at the time was the salon ran by Louise. Do you remember Louise? She always had a American word pompadour UK quiff. Do you remember her?
Oh,
she ran
yes.
And she was in, weirdly enough, I saw her at a Training Mate workout here.
Oh.
Because she's like an actress out here now.
What was her hair like in the Training Mate?
She did not have it up.
Okay,
it was
good.
down, actually.
Oh,
So
wow.
I barely recognized her.
Interesting choice for a workout.
Yeah, but I always remember that she ran the salon. It was called Avisa, which had something to do with her living in Ibiza.
Oh my God.
Real quick, I just want to read you this great thing, which is the list of brands which have sponsored Hollyoaks over the years. So, first brand was Nescafe, which I thought was kind of a strange choice. Then, a strong one from 2005 to 2009 was Wrigley's Extra Gum.
Good.
Perfect for the target audience. You always want to have your gum.
Yeah, gotta
going
have
out
it.
snogging.
Yeah.
A strange time when Nikon Coolpix sponsored it, which I think was some kind of instant camera. Then 2010, phones for you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to get their new Nokia phone. Unilever was a strange choice, so cleaning products. Then VO5, Domino's Pizza, dry shampoo, and then I don't recognize the the thing. But I do think in 2020 that Hollyoaks was sponsored by Baptiste Dry Shampoo could not be more perfect.
Ideal.
So I was trying to think about the US equivalent, and I do have an answer. It's technically not American, but it is...
Oh, I think I know what it is.
Canadian.
Degrassi.
It is Degrassi.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Now, the main reason is because it was teen-based, and obviously I know Degrassi's about a school, but the main thing is that Degrassi has had 6 different things in their franchise. They've had Degrassi Junior High, Degrassi The Next Generation, Degrassi Next Class, and then there was also this talk of them trying to revive it for HBO Max next year as well.
Ooh.
So I think that might be the US equivalent, even though it's Canadian. Should we go for it?
Let's do it.
Okay, so the US Canadian equivalent of Hollyoaks is Degrassi.
You're welcome.
Should we eat dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Liberty exit non-stop vibe.
And we're back. And just in time for Ben's American topic, we just had dinner. Which
did
is
have
perfect
dinner.
for what we're going to talk about. What are we going to talk about?
We are going to be talking about legendary Hollywood steakhouse Musso and Frank.
Hollywood, you say?
Yeah.
My playground?
That's your playground.
Where the stars come out to play, as well as me? I've heard of it.
So, Musso and Frank, it is a very old steakhouse. So we went the other week with angel investor Teddy.
Yes.
Who we took him for an official podcast meal as a thank you for doing our graphics for our Saturdays 24/7 spin-off series.
Please watch it.
Please
Genuinely.
Well, listen to it.
And watch it.
And watch it. Watch our stories. Okay, so the Musso and Frank Grill has been there. Do you know what? It opened before the iconic Hollywood sign was built.
Wow.
That's how long it's been there. It's on Hollywood Boulevard. It's been passed down through the Musso and Frank families for generations. Charlie Chaplin dined there.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
I can.
Our menu is so esteemed, so classic. It's gone virtually unchanged for nearly 100 years. Step into our door and into another time.
And again, accurate.
Yes.
Now, the menu does contain what I believe is a lie. Remember, I told us over dinner? Remember, I was looking before we went online, and they tried to claim that Musso and Frank's is the birthplace of fettuccine Alfredo.
Yeah.
And they were trying to... The lie is that they said that 2 silent film actors, like an actor and an actress, a couple who were in Italy, bought back a secret fettuccine Alfredo recipe to Musso and Frank's, and they brought the recipe to them, and it became the first ever fettuccine Alfredo in America. Now, I think that's a lie because I don't think Italian people eat fettuccine Alfredo. I think it's an American Italian dish. So,
I mean,
I'm calling you out in the streets, Musso and Frank.
Wow, we haven't even got into it.
And that street is Hollywood Boulevard.
Hollywood Boulevard. So we trotted down to Hollywood Boulevard. Oof. I got there early before you. Got there with Teddy. We walk in. I had to make this reservation 2.5, 3 weeks in advance because it is so booked. In fact, it was a Tuesday. No, it was a Wednesday night we went. Real midweek dinner. We go inside, mobbed. So busy.
Oh, I thought you meant you were mobbed.
I was mobbed.
By fans.
I was robbed. I was mugged. No, went in and it was just so busy. But the maitre d' and the server, they greeted us as if we were the first customers to walk through the door since the pandemic. They were so smiley and kind of amazed that we were there. I'm like, your restaurant's so busy and we don't know you. That's a lovely greeting.
Yeah, great.
So it was off to a good start because I was worried with those legendary old places, they don't care.
Dusty and musty old service.
Yeah, but they cared.
Yeah.
So we went and sat at the bar. We had some dirty martinis. Now, this is a thing I've noticed in steakhouses in the States or just over here. Sometimes when you order a martini, they make it for you, but then they pour it into the cocktail glass, but then they give you the rest in the shaker.
Yeah.
For you to
just eke out a little bit more.
Yeah, play barman yourself if you want.
You would never get that back in the UK, would you? It'd be standard measure.
Yeah.
Standard measure drink made to the exact thing that fits in the glass.
Or if you did get it, it would be the thing of the place.
Right.
That you would pay £25 for.
Yes. Can't wait to do that next week.
Oh my god! Also, shout out to our meal at the new Soho House that we had the other night.
Oh yeah,
the $25 cocktails. Listeners, we didn't pay because the meal was so bad they had to comp the whole meal for us. Anyway, we're not talking about that right now.
Oh god, I need to tell you what happened in the valet afterwards. Oh, I never told you that. I'll tell you that afterwards.
Okay, so the building itself, there's all sorts of like old, what look like tapestries up in the walls.
Yeah,
very high ceilings, mood lighting, heavy wood.
It was way more wooden and medieval looking than I was expecting it to be. I was expecting, for when you think of a 20s Italian steakhouse, I was expecting, yes, some like wooden accents, but I was also expecting lots of like, for some reason, green leather booths is what I had in my head.
Okay.
Like lots of old green leather booths around the edge of the room with tables in the middle. But what there really is like, just kind of booths, wooden structured booths everywhere. So you're almost in a private booth wherever you sit in there, which is kind of crazy.
Very intimate. I had the cocktails at the bar with Teddy, the bar staff.
Okay.
They are dressed, it's as if you're on, I don't know, a phantom ghost train.
Right.
That's really fancy.
Like the Orient Express.
Sure. They're dressed in like red, super dressed up. Were they wearing gloves? Maybe I've made that up. They were all, I would say, mature. Real career bar staff. Did great martinis, gotta say. They were very
kind
good.
of the vibes of that bar in Palm Springs that we went to on New Year's Eve.
Oh yeah,
2018. Remember?
Oh,
where it was like we were aboard a ghost ship, and everyone that worked there was also of age.
Oh my god, what's that place called? At the Ingleside, Melvin's.
Melvin's, yeah.
Melvin's the Ingleside Inn. So anyway, we then go around to the table. You arrive, and you're right. Yes. Everything was sort of sectioned off as if we were in our own little. I mean, it's because we were going to talk Hollywood business.
Yeah, well, that's what it's there for.
Yeah. So we sat down. I mean, we're talking tablecloths, we're talking wood, we're talking, and we'd all dressed up a bit.
Yeah.
You'd worn your shirt from Amazon.
Yep. I wore my... No.
No, you hadn't.
How dare you? I wore my shirt from Amazon last night. Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
It's a Levi's shirt. It's not Jeff Bezos.
And I commented, it's a nice shirt.
Thank you.
So we all like dressed up a little bit because I feel in those situations I want to respect the history of it all and the fact that the staff are so dressed up. Meanwhile, you've got some schmucks wearing like flip-flops.
Yeah, you don't want to be wearing a thonged flip-flop and shorts when someone's giving you almost like white glove service.
Exactly.
If your server is wearing a bow tie, you shouldn't be wearing flip-flops.
Yeah, step
That's
it up.
the rule.
Step it up. Okay, we ordered food. Now, what did you order?
Some kind of very light pasta with tomato sauce. Basically like a dolmio. Just a regular kind of evening meal of a dolmio sauce with the pasta, but it was really nice.
And you had a lot on the side. What did you have?
I made a wild order of garlic. I think they called it like garlic toast, but it was garlic bread, and they essentially served like a whole loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Remember there was like 1,000 pieces of it.
I sent the picture of us at the table with all the food on it to my friend Ali in Montreal, and she was trying to guess the foods, and she thought that was just a giant plate of swordfish.
I was like, it was garlic bread.
Garlic bread. So you ordered that. So Teddy and I shared oysters.
Yes, ludicrous.
Which is always a weird choice in LA. Like oysters in LA just doesn't work or make sense. But
it's by the sea.
Charlie Chaplin, the sea. Don't you love it when British people visit and they're like, "Oh yeah, we went and I took a dip in the sea." Like, yeah. It's the ocean.
The ocean.
Yeah,
of course.
It's the ocean. So we had that. I had a classic prawn cocktail. Oversized shrimps. Why are you laughing at me?
I'm just laughing at you. Just your dinner tonight with your squid egg pasta, and now you're talking about your oysters prawn cocktail. It was a fond, like, oh, Ben. It was one of those.
Look, a prawn cocktail's not fancy.
I know. I wasn't accusing you of anything. I just said, oh, Ben.
Yeah, I love my food. And then for mains, Teddy and I, we did the Wagyu. The 8-ounce Wagyu.
There's no other way to say that word. Even I say it in that accent.
Do you?
Yeah. If I see the word Wagyu, I say Wagyu.
Wagyu. With some lovely little sides as well. It was good. Although mine was a bit too well done. So we had that. Oh, yeah, there was now in the corner of the dining room, there was a telephone box, wasn't there?
Yes. And who...
Teddy said apparently
Johnny
Depp used to go do his calls there, his business calls.
That doesn't surprise me.
I mean, sure.
He probably still does.
Yeah. And then dessert-wise, I had a glass of red. That was good. What did you have a little drink?
I had one little glass of red.
Yeah, you eat a little tickle of red.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling so great that night.
Yeah, a little tickle of red. And then for dessert, I had an ice cream. I can't remember what it was though. Teddy had a chocolate ice cream that tasted like whey protein.
Yes, he did.
Which, I do obviously do like, but not in that scenario.
No.
Like a fake chocolate.
Yeah.
That was strange.
We should talk a little bit about the location of Musso and Frank.
Yeah.
Because it's really strange. And it's not their fault, because they were there first.
They were there first.
But
it's probably a field.
Yeah. The location on Hollywood Boulevard, it is in smack bang in kind of the epicenter of hell in Hollywood, which is Hollywood and is it like Hollywood and Vine, that kind of area? It's like the Leicester Square or the Times Square of LA, and it's just kind of, it's very strange because you're on the street, and because they don't have, even from the outside, again, I expect old restaurant, in the UK, don't you feel like all restaurants have, in London especially, or anywhere, in the UK, all restaurants have big glass fronted windows at the front of the restaurant, right?
Yes.
It's very rare that you can't see into a restaurant. But Musso and Frank, you can't even see into it. There's no windows at the front.
Yeah. Right? No wonder it's so dark in
Yeah,
there.
completely. There's no windows. The windows are all up on the roof.
Well, I just read this on their Wikipedia. When Musso and Frank opened in 1919, the political and financial life of Los Angeles was centered in downtown.
Right.
Which was a difficult journey at that time. This made it possible for the restaurant in Hollywood to attract the more bohemian and intellectual clientele who were starting to spend time in Hollywood.
Wow.
1919, that was right before
the Great Depression.
The Roaring Twenties.
Oh.
So it is, in fact, the oldest restaurant in Hollywood and has been called the Genesis of Hollywood.
Right.
It's pretty good.
But I just feel bad for them because when you exit, you've had this lovely, you've been transported back in time, and then you walk out and it's opposite is some kind of, there's some flashing neon sign for I don't know, porn, and I don't know, there's just a lot going on around there. And
there's
everyone's kind of
like a Wabo Cabo beside it or something.
A what?
Wabo Cabo.
No, Cabo Wabo.
Cabo Wabo, like a Mexican cantina that's really awful.
I felt like we walked out and they were playing, it definitely sounded like they were playing a song by Pitbull, didn't it? And I was like, I don't need this. Even though I do love Pitbull.
Do look on our Instagram because I do have a great video of walking through the restaurant and walking out and just you both being in the streets of Hollywood.
Which is my playground.
It's your playground. Apparently on the Wikipedia, we're talking everyone went there. Humphrey Bogart, Greta Garbo, all those old dead people, Marlon Brando, Marilyn Monroe, the whole gang.
All those old dead people.
Yeah.
What a great description.
Johnny Depp. Here's some alive people. Johnny Depp, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Keith Richards, alive just, and Harrison Ford.
I just don't feel I don't believe for a second that any of those people go there anymore.
Do you think? No, look at those booths though.
That's true. Actually, you're right. We could have been sitting next to, Greta Garbo. We just wouldn't have known it.
Yeah. Greta! She wouldn't have heard that because of the wood around us, I
will say that as nice as the inside was, whenever something is a little old in America or in Los Angeles, I do feel like sometimes it looks fake and like you're at Disneyland. Or perhaps what I'm saying is Disneyland is so good now at making things look old that things that are actually old look like they're in Disneyland. I'm not quite sure what point I'm making, but do you see what I mean?
I think your point is when you're near old stuff in LA, which is so rare, old in this kind.
Yeah.
When you're beside actual old stuff, it doesn't feel real.
Right.
I see a picture here of Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher walking out of Musso and Frank's.
Wow. When was that?
Let's have a look. It's in justjared.com. 2012.
Oh.
Maybe they were in between watching the London Olympics.
Yeah.
And they had to go. Maybe they put it on the screens there. So, that's pretty much it for Musso and Frank. We have before been to... What's the steakhouse in Eagle Rock that I really like?
Oh, I can only think of Melvin's. It's one person's name. Tony, Melvin, Simon, Alvin, Theodore. I can... Columbo's. I knew it was a man's name. Well, Columbo's the detective.
Columbo's is more casual, I would say.
Yeah.
That's kind of like your neighborhood steakhouse that maybe in the 60s, if you were going for your birthday meal, that's where you would have gone.
Right. Columbo's is where last time we were there when I heard those old people at the table next to us talking about how they voted for Trump.
The first time I went to Columbo's, the server came over and went, "Hi, thanks for coming. And just so you know, I've had dental surgery today and I'm in a lot of pain." Love that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Those kind of interactions that people are really missing out on in the UK.
Well, speaking of the UK, do we have steakhouses in the UK? Because over here in North America in general, I would say, it's such a thing to go to a steakhouse. It's dark. There's wood panels in the wall. You'll have a steak and a baked potato and a martini and a glass of red wine. It's like a real thing.
Yeah, I guess maybe we're skipping ahead, but I feel like I've only ever really seen like Garfunkel's in London who that has like a similar kind of vibe, right?
I guess we have a carvery. Like what's a Toby jug? No, a Toby
jug is a jug.
Is a
Toby
jug.
Carvery is
Toby Carvery. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking of.
Love a Toby Carvery.
Yeah.
Really, if you've ever been hungover in the UK, going to a Toby Carvery is a real treat.
I mean, I gotta say,
load up that mashed potato and gravy.
If you're hungover on a Sunday in the UK and it's a bit cold, but you're not super hungover.
No,
but just hungover enough. Going for a roast.
Yeah, lovely.
Pretty great.
I guess that maybe that's more the equivalent because it's still meat and I don't know.
Well, I was thinking in terms of the UK equivalent of Musso and Frank. So Musso and Frank, the beating heart of Hollywood, legendary. People have gone. I wondered, is it something like the original Ivy in London?
Do you know what? That's the exact thing I was thinking. The one off of
Shaftesbury Avenue.
Yeah. I think so, because it's kind of got it's like a name recognition thing, but it's not necessarily something that anyone would ever go to.
Yeah.
Especially if you live there, right? Like if you're a tourist, you go to the Ivy. Like or if you don't live in London, you go to the Ivy when you go to London. But like, I bet you went to the Ivy, right?
I had like a work lunch or dinner taken there. It was that kind of thing. Do you know they've opened up Ivies all around the UK?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Weird.
I bet there's one in like Guildford now. There's one in Glasgow.
A lot of talk about Guildford this weekend.
Have I talked about Guildford a lot?
No, we talked about it with JR, remember?
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, so I think... Oh, the wheels are really coming off. So I think the UK equivalent of Musso and Frank's legendary steakhouse grill in Hollywood is the Ivy in London. You're welcome.
Welcome. We're back.
We just had a conversation where we were like, what should we do for the end of the episode? And you went, let's just end it.
My words were, let's just end it.
So there we are. Thank you for listening. Please, in fact, pause the podcast, go rate and review us.
Yes.
Write that review in Apple Podcasts. It really helps us out. So we'd love it if you could do that. Get in touch on Instagram,
Twitter,
email. What's the email address again?
You're welcome, americapodcast@gmail.com.
There it is.
We constantly ask to not be receiving feedback personally from our friends, but I mean, I guess still do that because it's still good.
Yeah, but although if you can go through the official channels, because otherwise I lose it.
Yeah.
You know, is it a WhatsApp? Is it sent to an old Hotmail account? I'm confused. So the next time we'll do this podcast, you'll have been on your trip.
Oh my god, I'll be back from the UK.
Oh my god, you're gonna have so much to talk about.
I'm gonna keep everyone updated on the Instagram, maybe with a few little bits and pieces of me bopping around.
Lovely.
It's gonna really be the first time me using Instagram like for real. So watch out, everyone.
Well, thank you all for listening, and as ever, you're welcome.
Bye.
Liberty exit non-stop vibe.
You are right up my street.
Oh, you can't make me choose.
I go by Toyota. Sponsors T4.
Fuck me, Lee Ryan's 13.
I remember we couldn't remember the word for table.